Hey guys, this episode of Wednesdays with Will and Terry is brought to you by our sponsors over at the Seed Box. What is the Seed Box? It's a pocket-sized affirmation card set crafted to serve as a deeply rooted expression of self-love or a unique gift of encouragement to those you truly and deeply care about. So you can sow, ingrain, act, and develop. Guys, the Seed Box is awesome. Simply what it is it's a box set with cards inside to give you motivation, to inspire you to be your best self. One of the cards reads, "You are the epitome of beauty. Your outside radiance is a reflection of your glorious essence. You are one of the most wonderful creations. You are a living, breathing, and walking masterpiece. I am beautiful." Guys, I think this would make a great gift for Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day, Christmas, and birthday. Just a great gift overall, guys. Please show them some love and show them some support for being our sponsors over at Wednesdays with Will and Terry. And we have a little treat for you guys. If you go to theseedbox.com, that's TheSeadbox.com, and use the promotion code Wednesdays, you will get a discount on your first order. So guys, they have showed us some love. They're awesome. We believe in what the company is doing. We believe in their affirmations. I think that this will make a great gift. Now back to the show, guys. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Wednesdays with Will and Terry. And today we are honored to have not one, but two special guests with us. You guys already know one of them because he is the owner of our sponsor, the Seed Box. And we also have his beautiful fiance on here. We have Kyra Young. And they also own a business, Kyra Shea Medleys. So you guys already kind of know a little about the Seed Box, but you know it from my mouth. And I'm sure you guys haven't heard me talk about Kyra Shea Medleys, but you'll hear me talk about them a lot. But what I am going to do is allow them to introduce their businesses to you. So I'll just ask, guys, what is Kyra Shea Medleys and what is the Seed Box?
Hey y'all, I'm Kyra. I am the CEO of Kyra Shea Medleys, and we actually have kind of changed a little bit what Kyra Shea Medleys means to us. But essentially, our slogan is take care of you today for a better you tomorrow, meaning that what you do today for your hair and your skin matters for what it's going to look like and be like tomorrow and in the future.
Nice.
All right. I like that. Mr. Board?
Yes, sir. So, of course, I was on here a couple of weeks ago. I really enjoyed my time with you guys. And I'm the founder of the Seed Box. So we're basically a mini card affirmational gift set that focuses on improving you from the inner outward. We believe in that planting in something so that it can grow, so that it can bear fruit, not just for yourself, but that you can share with the world around you. And the fruit that you do grow allows you to plant seeds for other people as well, too.
Nice.
Thank you. And for you guys who probably don't know, I mention it often, Terry is an independent artist. He draws, he paints, he also does tattoos. So he himself is a business owner. So Terry, can you let the people know about your business and what it is you do?
I'm a tattoo artist, painter, illustrator, advertisement designer, marketing dude, I guess, freelance to an extent, creator basically. And you could catch me on Instagram at Mr. Plastic, and hit me up for appointments. Email will be in the description. Yeah, that's me.
Kyra, John, where can they find your business? I want to do it at the beginning and the end because I know people's mindset sometimes could be a little bit fast once we start talking. So where could people find the Seed Box? Where can they buy? Kyra, where can people get Kyra Shea Medleys at? Where can they buy it? Where can they find you guys?
You can buy our beauty products at KyraShea.com. That's KYRASHEA.com. And you can also find us on all social media platforms at Kyra Shea Medleys. And I will be creating a discount code for you guys, a 15% off discount code specifically for the followers of this podcast. I don't know what the code should be though. You want it like Wednesdays?
That's what we normally say.
Or something. I'm like Wednesdays if y'all don't know. But yeah, whatever you want the code to be, I'll make it that.
Sweet.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So y'all heard it here. You already getting your discounts at the seed box. God is blessing us. Y'all gonna be getting your discounts at the Kyra Shea Medleys. So, you know, I've used both products. I've had the Kyra Shea Medleys. I believe I had two different ones. I had one where the label was purple, and I had one where the label was brown. And I think one had something to do with like babies. What was the flavor? Oh man. One had something with like baby in it or something, and I think another one had coconut. And I remember, did you guys ever have one that was coconut? Like, and I remember because Nana couldn't use that one, and I was like, yeah. And that was the one I would use on my beard. She would be like, you can't kiss me because I'm allergic to coconut. But I remember it making my skin feel so smooth and so soft. And one thing I remember about I say KSM, but Kyra Shea Medley, is that smell would last throughout the day. So my question to you, Kyra, is like, what was your inspiration? Like, first of all, before we go on to inspirations and all of that, what is entrepreneurship to you guys? Is that something that's attainable for everybody? Like for me, when I think entrepreneur, I think business owner. Is it further than that? Is it more than being a business owner? And is everybody capable, or are some of us just worker bees?
It's a lifestyle, bruh. I think it was the E-Myth that we was reading. I don't know why I just forgot the author of it. I want to say Berger, but
the E-Myth?
The E-Myth, yeah. I'll find the author of it, but he basically said like you have three types of people. You have your workers, you have your managers, and then you have your entrepreneurs, or like the CEOs of these companies and different things like that. And he said every so often you will find one person that can do all three, but usually for the most part you have to fit into one of these categories. At least from their research and their studies that they did, that's what they found. Being an entrepreneur when you're first starting out is going to consist of all of that, to be honest. Like if you're starting from the bottom, like what they call Kylie Jenner, self-made. No, I'm sorry. I love you, Kylie, but no. Starting from the bottom is completely different when you're literally having to work in your business, manage your business, and be the entrepreneur, the creative behind that business. So for me, entrepreneurship is a lifestyle. Like it's learning how to do everything in your business so that you can teach other people later on and hire them to do it in your business. So it's a lifestyle, and it's your time, it's your energy, it's your money, it's your relationships. Like it's all of it. So that's entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I mean, I'll piggyback off of what Kyra was saying. It's kind of, we were talking about this earlier today, actually. And even going off the E-Myth, the book that we read, a lot of times people start businesses and they know how to work, like in their businesses, but they're not really proficient in working like on their businesses. And, working in your business is like, it can't exist without you. Working on your business is when you build systems so that you can step away, it can fully function, and you can go do the things that you need to do that a CEO would, like raise capital or find investors or marketing and things like that. So can anyone do it? It's kind of like asking, can anyone play basketball? It's like, yeah, you can, but can you be a professional at it?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because a huge part of it is being a practitioner. A huge part of it is being someone that's super organized. And then also a huge part of it, like what Terry was saying, is just being a creative and being able to like trust your intuition that what you're making is good and that you want to put it out to the world and that you believe it. So yeah, that's kind of, hopefully that was a clear answer, but it's kind of how I feel about it.
When you guys were in the planning process, did you go out and ask questions and speak to people that were already involved early, or was that something that you had to learn after the fact of like meeting like little failures at the beginning? Like, were you humbled early, or were you like, did you have a guide?
I'll give you, so this is like real quick. Like it was one of those things where none of us knew anything about business at all.
Yep. We are the first in our families to start businesses. So
yeah, for sure. And to be honest, it was the first thing that started me off was, it was kind of two sources. So the first one was a book that Nipsey Hussle recommended, rest in peace. It was Contagious by Jonah Berger. And it basically teaches like, it's basically how to make ideas stick, not just for yourself, but for also the audience that you're building with. That helped me out tremendously on learning how to like communicate to the audience, how to do storytelling, different things like that, how to put hype behind your product. So that helped out a lot. And then the second one actually was Gary Vaynerchuk. And it was just someone who I used to follow a lot all the time. And he ended up coming to LA one day. And he was like, yo, if anybody wants to meet up, just like, let me know. So I was just spamming like crazy. And then he ended up inviting me down to like meet with him, watch him record some stuff. So went down, watched him record a little bit of stuff. And then maybe had like about a 20 to 30 minute conversation. And then just seeing how he carried himself, it kind of allowed me to develop a bar like, oh, okay, like if anything, this is how I got to approach it. I may not know what I'm approaching, but at least I know what manner I can approach it in. So those two things kind of started out for me.
But those also kind of came like a little bit later in the process. Like when we first started, we were just asking like our family and our friends, like, how do you guys like this product? How do you feel about it? It was later on that we started to learn who is the right person to ask, if you want to call it the right person. Yes, you can get, what do you call it? Your market acquisition, like you can find out what potential customers may like, but usually your family and your friends are going to love anything that you write because they love you. You know what I'm saying? So whether they'll be as truthful as possible, but they also don't want to hurt your feelings unless you got a mama like mine. She gonna hurt my feelings because it's, you know, it's the best thing for you. Or they'll be, you know, like it's not as like, I don't want to say truthful because it's not that they're being untruthful. It's just, it's a difference when you're like presenting or selling a product to somebody that already loves you versus somebody who has no idea who you are, you know? So we had to learn how and who to ask questions to. And then as we started meeting professionals and experts who are already been doing this for years, we learned the right questions to ask during those times. So, and by right questions, I mean questions that are going to really get us the answers that we need so that we can build up Kyra Medleys. Because it is, I'm sorry, there's to me a such thing as a stupid question. Like, at least when it comes to business, there is a such thing as a stupid question. So you do need to know, like, what is it that you want, and then go find that answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, sorry, Will, when,
No, go ahead, brother.
what would you say about you guys' communication as like business partners and being in a relationship at the same time?
Great.
Because and what you were talking about with like a family's opinion, right? That will break off into, you know, you guys are getting serious, you know, and then so to be able to trust in that, that's almost like a double marriage kind of, you know. It's like because the same logic, it consists the same logics on both sides of the spectrum. Like now you guys got to trust each other with the emotional aspect and the financial aspect. So it could be like sometimes those can communicate very well. But I would say like I from the outside of it, because I'm relatively doing mine by myself, I wouldn't say 100%, but because I do get support from outskirts, but as far as like the emotional attachment, it's all on me and what I like. So I can shut it out. But when if you're in a relationship, I would say it's like, but I'm your dude or I'm your girl and this is my idea too. So you're not going to consider it, you know? How would you guys say your experience with that would have been lately or within the whole situation?
You got some gas? Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you first.
It can be difficult, not necessarily from like agreeing on like certain ideas or like consideration. A lot of times, I mean, it's very close to having like a child. It's something that you guys kind of birth together. You're seeing it grow and mature, and you may have different like paths that you think it should take. You know what I mean? And that can lead to a lot of frustration or confusion sometimes. And then also it's very time consuming. So, you know, we always like to think of energy as like something that's like infinite, but it's very finite. Same thing with focus. So because the business draws so much, a lot of times you're not able to pour into the relationship or each other, or you even get to the point where you know of each other as less of like partners like romantically and more of just like business partners. So, you know, I mean, it's always like this give or take or like tug of war. And it's been times that, to be honest, that we've almost lost the business wanting to keep the relationship, and then we almost lost the relationship because of the business. So I think now, just because it's interesting, like we don't have to agree on the same things, but we know that we're kind of both headed in the same like direction. We want to go forward with it. But that came through just years of, you know, going through a lot to get to that point. And not necessarily like taking things taking things like so personally. And then also too, when it comes to like sharing ideas, in the beginning, everything's like, when you're doing a business, everything's like emotional. So it's like, I want to do this because it'll make me feel this way. I'm so attached to this idea. As time goes on, you become a lot more analytical. So you can say like, I want to do this, and then these are the reasons why I feel like this should go forward or so. So then again, you can't even take the ideas like, oh, they're coming to me with something personal. It's like, no, they're making a business decision. So at least that's my part. How about yours?
Yeah. Running a business with your significant other, sometimes that line between personal relationship and business gets blurred a lot. So like, if I'm mad at John for something that he did personally, I don't want to hear what he got to say when it comes to business either. Like, I'm just being 100% real. Like, that has definitely happened. And it'll be the other way around, where I may have felt a certain way about something that he said about the business. I'm just like, whatever. Like, I don't want to kiss you right now either. So, you know, like, it's definitely sometimes a blur. But I think for me, with our relationship, that I had to learn how to put away was letting other people in it. So like, so if it's okay for me to say, like, we've been together for a long time, 12 years now. And at the beginning of the business, which was back in 2013, around that time, we were kind of contemplating, like, you know, getting married, like, becoming fiancé and, you know, going down that path. But like, that costs a lot of money, and starting a business costs money too. So we were just like, well, maybe we can start the business and then we'll be able to afford this later on, like afford the wedding later on. And then it started to become, you know, because you're learning, like, you're not making 100,000 off bat. Like, you don't make that in your first year. So you make way less than that. So you're having to build up. So it's delaying the time that you guys should be getting married. And then all of your family are just like, so y'all not married yet? When y'all gonna get married? What's going on with the marriage? Where's my grandbabies at? Like, it's like, so you start getting the feel from them. I know John got way more slack than I did when it came to, you know, people in our relationship, essentially. So I had to learn how to turn my ear off to it.
I had like random Nigerians coming up to me, like, when are you like at the coffee, like, I don't know why I just had to say it was so wild. Staples, yeah. Like, so what's up? Like, I don't even know you. Like, but
people put a lot more than you would expect into your ideas. It's like, hey, wait, this is my decision, the path that I chose.
Right.
But I was listening to the Hot Box earlier today with Mike Tyson. And he's talking about, like, he was interviewing Kevin Gates, which that guy made a massive turnaround. It's crazy to see how he is now. Like, it's influential as heck, you know. But
I'm always gonna protect myself, sir. I never want violence, but we can go that way.
I'm a spiritual being. You gotta understand where I'm coming from. But he's like nicely dangerous. You know what I mean? But he was saying that he was always scared of the responsibility of being a leader, and that's what his fear was, because he always knew there was something special about him. But like, the amount of responsibility that other people would invest into his path would become overwhelming at some point, which was what he assumed, and why he became a self-sabotager. And he wasn't able to admit it until he reached a level of success where he can like cut himself some slack and be like, okay, now I can speak out, which I've noticed happens in a lot of people. Once they get to a certain amount of success, now they have the ability and the openness to be able to like speak out about the frustrations and how much they had to hold back, but like their fears, basically, to just be able to be honest and say, yeah, I was scared. But like So I would say what I'm trying to get to is that, like, when how you said random people were saying things, when someone stamps you, like, it's scary to speak out about your plans, especially the people in close to your circle, if they're looking for some type of like leadership. Some people seek leadership instead of seeking being a leader. You know, they don't want to grab the wheel. They want someone to drive them, and they want to be safe in it too. So that's like, you say, oh, I'm gonna start a business. They're like, well, now I got a list for you of expectations for you to meet if you want to be in a friendship with me, or if you want me to follow you, right? And if you don't meet those expectations, then they start to judge you. And it's like, dude, I didn't tell you I wanted to like guide you. I wanted to like, I'm trying to feed my family. That's all I'm trying to do. So it's crazy that you brought that up, because I just saw that point and I was like, wow, I never thought of it from that perspective. You know, it's cool. I mean, it's not cool, but it's powerful at the same time. I guess it's a little bit of everything.
I have a comment and a question. So I'm gonna comment on what you said, Terry. I think that the best leaders were once the best followers. So what I mean by that is nobody was just a leader. You had to be under somebody to become a leader. Somebody had to teach you, whether it's Bible, whether it's business, whether you're reading in a book, whether you have a mentor, whether you follow somebody on YouTube, whether you're inspired by another business. Personally, I've worked with John. We worked together for about 2 years at the bank. And when I tell you, he was one of the most respectful people, one of the most respectful tellers. The managers trusted him. He was always on, he would get to work early, leave late. There were times where I didn't have money for food. He would make sure I ate. There were times where I was walking home and he would be like, man, let me give you a ride, because it's dangerous. So I watched his work ethic, and even in being friends, watching his work ethic and maintaining our friendship, because we've had some disagreements, but he's never let that get in the way of our brotherhood. And then Kyra, I watched her schooling, being in school and, having these people what would you call them, instructors, who sometimes aren't the easiest to work with, having to do all of these things and maintain a job, and maintain a relationship, and run a business. So I trust their business and I trust the work ethic of their business because I watch them in their work ethics in other places. So I know that they're great leaders because I watch them be great followers. So now my question would be, because you guys work together, and when I think Kyra Shea Medleys, I think Kyra because it's Kyra Shea Medleys. When I think the seed box, I think John because I see him pushing the seed box. But because I know you guys personally, I know that you guys are on the paperwork together. That may be John, may be the guy or the head front. I don't know if I'm choosing the right words because I'm not an entrepreneur, but he's in front for the seed box. Kyra, you're in front for Kyra Shea Medleys. Does pride and ego come into play? Are there times, like, I'll use my match, for example, there are times where Dana is the one who has to take the wheel because she's make the most money this month. She has to do the more important things this month. And sometimes that can be a little bit discomforting for me because it's like, man, my wife is in front and I should be leading, or I should be up, or when people see her, she's the singer, right? So people commend her singing, but I'm the guitar player. Like nobody cares about me playing the guitar. And then there's times where I play the guitar and she's like, hey, I sung on that song though. Like nobody cares that I sung. You know what I mean? And what I've had to learn as far as marriage, I think marriage is business, is like there's no individuality. We're a team. Even though you're the singer and I'm the guitar player, when somebody is praising you, they're praising me. When somebody is praising me, they're praising you. So from a place of business, how do you guys maintain that? And then also from a place of consumership, I might not want, I might say, Kyra, I don't want a butter right now. What I want is soap. Do you stick to what my heart and my soul tells me I am gonna hit with shea butter? So I'm sticking with it. Hair and skin. I don't want to make a soap. John, if I say, hey, the seed box is hella dope, but right now what we want is a big poster to put on the wall with a bunch of affirmations. Do you guys believe that you change with the people, or do you stay what your heart is, and then that blows up.
Well, I mean, I guess I can answer the first question first when you were talking about like the pride part of like having a business and, you know, two persons. To be honest, and this is going to be a tip at the same time. I honestly wish I did not name this company Kyra Shea Medleys. And the reason being is because I'm actually more of a behind the scenes person. Like I've always been that, and me naming it after myself made me have to be upfront, and I didn't do it right. Like John was trying to push me to do like videos and different things. I was like, yeah, I'm not really good at that. I don't want to do that type thing. But I needed to do that because of what we had named this company. And he actually had a better name in the beginning, Nebula. We were going to call it Nebula Cosmetics, but again, I asked the wrong people, and they're just like, "Yeah, you should name it." Kyra
By the way,
Shea.
guys, that's copyrighted. I don't want nobody coming out with no Nebula. They didn't copyright
Right.
that. All right.
Right. But I listened to the wrong people, again, the people who love you, and they're just like, no, you should name it Kyra, Kyra, Kyra. And it's just like, I shouldn't have listened to those people, you know, like, and if I can give a tip, if you are thinking of a name for your business, think of something that is 3 words or less, as well as 3 syllables or less. The biggest brands, except for Coca-Cola, but they got so much money to put behind their branding and their marketing, it does not matter what their name is. But when you're starting out, try to be as simple as possible. 3 words or less, 3 syllables or less. Kyra Shea Medleys is too many syllables. It's 3 words, but it's too many syllables. And Nebula would have been perfect. But it has made me kind of like, man, like I wish I wouldn't have done that, because then it could have been me and him together in the spotlight versus just me. And I personally feel like John is more of a motivation speaker, and he's better in the camera and better in the light than I am. So like having to step in that area that I know he's better at has definitely been interesting as far as like the pride part of it. So yeah.
Pride equal in the business. It can get tough at times. Like when we started the business up, one thing that I kind of saw was that like the tide was turning, because there was a lot more like women empowerment being on the rise, and as it should. So in terms of like who people want to see at the forefront, they want to see a woman like leading the way on it, right? So I was like, okay, well, you know, we're doing this together. You take the lead on it. I play the background. The only problem is that a lot of times, like if people don't see you, they don't think you're doing like anything. So like they'll like go to Kyra and be like, oh man, and they'll kind of be like, you helping her? You know her? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just not, I'm not on Insta. You don't see my face on there. So at those times, it can get really tough, especially if you're like during that day, you may be down on yourself or questioning your own worth. And then somebody comes along and kind of, you know, are you in this? What are you doing? And you're just like, man, you know, so that can be tough. But I mean, the great thing about it is that she's a hard worker. She's always pushing the business forward. So it's never like devaluing like the work that she does as a human. You do like to have like some kind of recognition, but like I said, those are just moments. I'm not like every day like, oh, tell me I'm great. But yeah, I've gotten used to it, and hey, just got to embrace your role sometimes.
Would you say that it?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Would you say that it has helped or has damaged the trust? Like, because I know when, like we were speaking about earlier, like engagement, expectations that develop when you guys are getting in the business together, it stacks on top of already expectations of having a relationship. So it could be overwhelming at times. And I've with my personal experience, it has, depending on, like, for instance, on her side, it has her name in the title. So people would expect, like, they would most definitely seek information from her over you, but that doesn't mean you don't put the same amount of, you guys don't put equal effort into the business. It's just that she has the title. So I can see her reasons why she would choose different, as well as the whole acronym aspect too. But and with my experience, the reason why I asked that question is because I feel like the bringing finances into the relationship kind of like it gave us a spoil on my side, right? It kind of it brought a little bit of spoil in the mix, and it's at that point it becomes very fragile. Like you don't know which side to approach from. You don't know to approach as from a business partner or to approach from you got to understand when to. So it's like for me that it gave it a little bit of harder. It gave me like a challenge with communication. But ultimately, whether I just had to reach the failure or the win faster. So I realized in the end that I had to just attack whatever came with confidence, because that's the only way you have to see it through, even if you see like failure at the end of it, you have to like attack it. And that's the challenges, not the dangers, because you grow through it, but it's the dangers that I saw when you're building a business and a relationship. So from you guys, do you think that has built better communication? Or has it dampered to where you guys struggle a little bit more?
I think we just had to learn how to communicate. Because like even the situations like that John was talking about, like I actually at first I wasn't seeing. I'm like, John, what do you mean? Like people aren't recognizing you? Like I'm always shouting you out. I'm always saying your name. Like, yeah, John, my partner, blah blah blah. Like I'm always like, what do you mean that? And then I ended up experiencing it one time in person where somebody we were talking about the business and it was like, what does John do? Is he like your little helper? And I was like, what the fuck you mean? Like my little helper, excuse my language. But I was like, what do you mean like my little helper? I'm like, John definitely plays a huge part in this company, and all the marketing that you see is because of him. I'm like, even though you're not seeing, like, he's not like in the kitchen every single day, like, but he's in that kitchen too, making products as well. He knows the recipes by heart as well. So it kind of like offended me. So I'm like, okay, well, if I just got it in this one instance, I'm pretty sure he's getting it a lot more. So I don't know. For me, it's been a little bit difficult trying to figure out how to make sure that he's still getting his light. But then at the same time, John has been like humble enough to be like, Kyra, it's cool. Like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I understand the position that I play. You have to do this and I'm going to still do this. Like, so I'm grateful, you know, for him for doing that. But at the beginning, I want to say that it did kind of mess up our communication a little bit, because I was thinking that maybe he thought that I wasn't like giving him enough props or shouting him out or anything like that. But after years of like just learning and understanding, and like especially when we're together, people are just like, oh my God, like they must be like a huge power couple. Like, what do they do? Like their energy, their vibe together is everything. But
it definitely resonates. Just like as soon as the meeting started and you guys sitting together, you could feel the power within when you guys are close. So that definitely resonates.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like we do better in the business when we are like, you know, when we are feeding off of that energy from each other. So I don't know, like I said, it was difficult in the beginning, but we just had to learn how to communicate and learn how to silence, you know, the noise that was unnecessary, you know. So still learning though, because like I said, you gonna get people come out of the woodworks with their opinions, man, and really have no idea of what y'all should just go on Shark Tank. Okay, do you have the phone number to the person that works at Shark Tank who can get us on? Like everybody just has ideas, and it's just like we thank you, you know, and that's all you can do. You just say thank you, and then you move forward. So,
well, so for those people, you know, I'm gonna hit them over the head real quick, because you guys have had some commercial success. You've been in Target, you've been featured on Power 106. You know, you guys have actually got to meet Steve Harvey. You guys actually got to meet Stevie Wonder. You know, you guys actually talk with the guy from Shark Tank. So you guys have experienced some commercial success. So I guess I'll ask a two-part question. Well, I'll do a hypothetical. Help me. I am a guy who sells skateboards out of my truck, and I'm trying to go into being a franchise business. I want to be recognized by the state. I want to be legitimate. Where do I start? Where do you go from an idea to an LLC? Because Kyra, you spoke to me once before, and I always remember conversations. I just have a knack for that. And you were telling me the importance of being LLC, and it helped me understand how companies like KFC were able to go through some, or Kentucky Fried Chicken was able to go through something, but then become KFC, you know? So can you guys help me and help others who may want to start businesses? So where we not just selling out of our trunks, or where we're not just like in the neighborhood, how we can actually branch out. Like, how do we get credit cards in the business name? How do we get our paperwork correct so that we could actually be like Target one day? How you guys were in Target.
Do you want to do marketing and then I'll do the legal stuff?
I was gonna ask that question in next. That's dope, because I was gonna say, what is marketing? So I always hear you guys talk about like marketing. To me, marketing is like your website. Like, I look at your guys' website, Kyra. One thing I love about your website is you actually have a quiz, because people have different type of skin, people have different type of hair. Like, even your layout, is that marketing? Like, I look at the seed box, and John, you actually give examples of like certain, like you show certain cards and what they say and where they come from and what inspired you. You even have like contact me, hours of operation and things like that. So can you explain to the people, I'm ignorant, I'm coming in, I just know I'm selling skateboards out of my trunk, and you trying to get me to become LLC or whatever. Help me out, guys.
Yeah. So it's both branding and marketing, but I was trying to get John to go first, but I'll try to speak on it in a short way so that he can bring in the marketing, because the marketing honestly is way more important. And this is something that I learned later. So when you're first starting out your trunk, or however you're selling, you know, lemonade stand on your corner, or selling Rice Krispie treats and hot Cheetos out your backpack at school, like however it is that you're starting, like getting customers is number one. Making sure that whatever product you have is actually something that people want. So selling is giving, what you call it, that's your I'm saying COCA, cost of customer acquisition, but that's your marketing, your social proof for marketing. It just basically means that whatever it is that you're doing is valid and it's something that people want. Now, when you get to that point, like, okay, I done made a great amount of sales doing what I'm doing. Maybe I need to turn this into an LLC or a sole proprietorship. So basically you have like multiple levels. So anytime you're thinking about your business, you have to think about it in 3 different ways: federally, state, and local. Federally is the IRS. You have to get your federal employment ID number to be considered a business. So you have to register as a business. Most people, when you're starting out, especially if you're an individual, most people will just do your sole proprietorship. That just basically means that you have started an official business, but you're still liable tax-wise personally. That's also kind of similar with an individual LLC. You don't have all of the liability, but you still have some of it. When you become a partnership LLC, that means you and all of your partners have limited liability, whereas your business is taking on most of the, like if something was to happen, your business is taking on most of the burden. So, but again, when you're starting, it's not necessary for you to go straight into an LLC. You can start as a sole proprietor and then grow up. Only because, like I said, with taxes, it's a tax. Like it actually costs, like I think in California, it's like $800 minimum a year to have an LLC. Whether you made money or not, it does not matter, because you have declared that as your legal structure. That's what you have to pay. So if you're a sole proprietor, you ain't got to pay that. You know, it just reflects within your personal taxes as well. And then you think statewide. So that is your sales taxes or use taxes, depending on the business that you have. In California is your Board of Equalization. Out here in Georgia is the Georgia Tax Center. So you have to make sure that you have your sales permit, which means that you can sell in my state for whatever state that you live in. And then locally is like your city or your county. It's different depending on what state you're in. But your city or county is also like, yeah, you got to get permission for me to sell in this city or in this county as well. So you get your city business license or your county business license. So that's literally 3 different levels. And then you have your DBA, doing business as, which means that I am doing business as this and nobody else can use this name. It's not really that expensive, probably like $150 or so, but it's important to have that. You can have a DBA and a sole proprietor and be good. just as long as you have that track structure set up, and then having your permits to say that I can sell in this state and I can sell in this city, getting that particular license. So that's like the gist of legalness. A lot of people are just like, do I need to trademark immediately? No. And I did that because I was like, I need to get all my legal ducks in a row. Everything needs to be trademarked. I need to have all this insurance and do A, B, and C. It was not necessary at all. I trademarked a logo that I don't even use, and that's expensive. So you want to wait off on trademarking and doing all that private. I mean, unless you got the money. If you got the money to blow, then go by all means. But if you starting out your trunk, you probably don't got that money. So build your brand up, build that marketing, and then once you have the money to start spending, go ahead and trademark and private label. And it's good because even before, they have something called the penny patent, where you can basically print out your logo or your name and mail it to yourself, certified mail. And then that means whatever that dated stamp of that certified mail is when you started using that trademark. So it's still kind of a short trick to still have your name in the system, whether you've been like paid $1,000 for your trademark or not. So that's like the legal side of it. But again, like, you don't have to rush into that. The most important thing is you getting those sales and the marketing up front. So that's where I wanted him to come in.
All right, before you go in, John, I'm gonna break it down in
copyright, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna break it down in rich dummy talk. I get this from I steal that
Rich
from
dummy.
Nutty Professor. I always say it. So for those of y'all who like me, I was the short bus kid. Okay, I was in Sylvan. I'm gonna give it to y'all in rich dummy talk. Okay, this is how I always say God explains stuff to me like you're talking to a kindergartner. So Kyra, help me if I'm right. So what she's saying, guys, is make sure you're selling something that people want to buy first. If you selling something that people want to buy first and you see, oh man, this is going somewhere, the first thing you want to do is get your DBA, your doing business as. And if you can't afford that, then it's a little cheap man trick where you make a name and then certify mail that name to yourself so you can start doing business as that name on the low. And then don't worry about all that federal, all of that stuff now, because you got to get there. But what you want to do is you want to get your sole proprietorship. That's the important thing, because the sole proprietorship will let you sell in the state and in the city. Am I right, or am I missing something?
The sole proprietorship is federal. Yeah.
So which one do I want?
First. The sole proprietors.
I want the sole proprietor, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm just selling skateboards off my trunk.
A legal structure, a sole proprietor is good if you're an individual. Like that's fine. Because you, again, federal, state, then local, but always federal first, then state, then local. So you need to be able to sell in this country first, then in your state, then in your city or county.
All right, we got it, guys. So now we getting off the short bus, we going into the classroom. And I ain't talking about nobody because I was on the short bus and I was in Silver. I'm talking about me. But this is how some people need to learn. Some people are very much, I gotta open the hot sauce, put it on the chicken, then bite, right? So that's how I am. I'm just helping those people. So
I think that's the best way to hit anything anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Terry, I'm gonna come to you after John, because it's completely different as far as marketing and branding and all of that goes with being a tattoo artist. So this is a question for you and your business too. So John, help us on the Sylvan bus. Explain marketing to me.
Yeah. So marketing, I mean, I guess to start off with a good rule of thumb is that marketing used to be, and I've heard this all the time, but marketing used to be what a brand tells you about itself. And now marketing is kind of what people tell you about that brand, right? Kind of who you are, your reputation, how you go before that. So if you're selling skateboards out of a trunk, it's a couple of things you want to do. The first thing you want to do is marketing wise only, you want to make sure that you kind of establish what would be a brand. So like, again, like marketing and branding is a little bit different. Branding is more so like a collective of how people feel, like the feel that you're emitting about a brand. Marketing is kind of like what you're showing. And in the marketing side, we'll touch on both. Marketing, what you want to do first to establish something, you want to establish what is it called? A single person. We establish like one person, like a persona.
Oh,
thank you. You want to establish a buyer persona. So the buyer persona is like, if you're selling to one guy, Because a lot of times people will come out and say, I'm selling to everybody. But if you're selling to everybody, you ain't selling to nobody. So you want to establish with one person, that person's age, their interests, what they're into, music they like, slang they use, because that helps in your copywriting. Copywriting is like the message you type out in the language that you use, because you want to talk like you're talking to that person, use that person's slang. And then it also shows you where to market at. He likes this type of music, go on those forums, different stuff like that. Because chances are, if there's one of them, there's 1,000 of them. And it allows you to stay 100% focused on one person. Secondly, what you want to do is establish a unique value proposition. A unique value proposition is what makes you different from the competition. So for some people, it's like, I sell skateboards. For other people, it's like, I sell skateboards made out of oak. Other people, it's like, I sell skateboards made out of X, Y, and Z. This one's lighter, this one's heavier. Here's a little trick. If you can't have a difference in the actual product, what you can do is have a difference in the deliverables. Deliverables meaning like this. Amazon and Blockbuster, they both will show you free Willy, but Amazon is all about speed. They can get it to you a lot faster. Same movie, their whole brand is around speed. Amazon Prime, 1-day shipping, instant movies, different things like that. That's how you set a unique value proposition when it's not based off of the product.
Where it's Blockbuster.
Yeah, whereas Blockbusters,
family oriented.
Yeah, family oriented. But the problem with Blockbuster is that they made you go outside the house. You got to drive down there. You got to see what they have. There's no like recommendations. That's also one thing with Amazon too, is that their unique value proposition is not in the items, because you can get the items at Target that you can get at Amazon, but they have a lot more social proof, reviews. People are always talking about it. So that's their product isn't the product. The product is the convenience. And that's what sets Amazon apart from most in-store places. Now, once you go ahead and you do that, when it comes to your marketing as well, is you kind of want to be able to establish a theme for what you have. So what are you going for? Are you going for more rugged tones? Are you going for something that's more earthy, like what me and Kyra have to offer? Are you going for people who, some people have like a beauty care kit where it's like Dollar Shave Club. Everything's about being like super manly. So therefore they use like dark colors and different things like that. You kind of want to evoke that kind of feel when it comes to marketing as well too. You want to be able to have your ad, I don't mean that your ad spend, but you want to be able to have your target audience. So we talked about having that one person. Okay, it's cool. You got that one guy. So how do you enter that in when you start doing paid advertisement, right? They don't allow you to put like the exact, you could put the exact day, but you don't want to minimize yourself. So you want to go off things like interest. Again, what is that person interested in? What shows do they watch? What groups, what magazines do they like? What publications? Different things like that. And once you get beyond that, one thing that also helps us as well too is you want to, that separates a lot of people from amateurs. You want to have a lot of great product photography or product graphics. So you want to be able to show, one thing that me and Kyra always talked about was we're not like up there with the L'Oreals or the Burt's Bees, but we're always going to present ourselves as that way. And you know what I mean? So
I see it in your website. I see it in your website.
Thank you. Kyra did a lot of that work. She was killing it. And so, yeah. So again, back to the marketing aspect, it's really just about making sure that, better thing. When it comes to marketing, the trick could be to be like, people, when you're selling a drill, people are buying the hole. They're not buying the drill. You get what I mean? And like they're buying the benefit. They're not buying the product. So, you know, when we first came out, we were like, oh, yeah, the buttercream and it's shea butter and it's vitamins and it's da-da-da-da. People don't want that. They don't care. What they want is confidence, ease of use, moisture, restorability, and to be able to look great when they go outside. That's pretty much it. So if you have that skateboard, you can say like, oh, you know, it's super lightweight and da-da-da-da-da. And it'd be like, y'all probably kill me for this because I'm probably doing the wrong reference. But instead of saying that, you can be like, oh, you'll be able to do, I don't know, jumps off of stairs like Sheckler with ease. You know what I mean? Like that's what you sell. Damn the oak, damn all that other stuff. You really want to be able to give people, they call it the dream outcome. So these are the 4 things that you do to establish value. You want to have your dream outcome, meaning that like, oh, you'll be super moisturized, you'll be hydrated, they'll love you. believability. You have that by saying, oh, we're 10 years in the business. We have over 100 reviews, right? Because then they're like, oh, okay, if they did it for 100 more, they did it for us. Then you want to, again, add value to, not add value, but you want to have your unique selling point. So that, again, goes back to adding value to something where you can say, okay, I may sell something that's blank, but at least I can give a deliverable that's better than anyone else. So if you sell it out the trunk, you can say like, skateboard delivered to your door. That's a value prop. You don't even have to sell nothing different. You're doing something different. You're functioning something different. And there's a fourth one. It's kind of escaping.
That completely, just hearing that from that perspective, completely canceled out the, oh, he's selling skateboards out of his truck type of thing. It was more like, oh, he could deliver them straight to you, you know? I don't even look at it as like from a grungy perspective, you know, like where people are like, he's selling them out of his trunk. What about the quality? Where is he getting them from? All that. When you introduce it as like he could deliver it straight to your door, it's like, man, I don't know. Will, you remember Nacho in Paramount?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that dude's stuck in a pickup truck and have a board right there. And we never even cared about like anything else but the fact that it was there when you needed it and you could skate right away, you know?
Bro, the coldest thing that I saw last night when I was kind of studying and everything was like, it was about Domino's. Like for a long time, like Domino's was like struggling. And the reason they were struggling was because, you know, Pizza Hut was kind of like the McDonald's and Domino's kind of like the Burger King. So it was kind of like a market clash. But also what was happening was that a lot more people in New York were opening up pizzerias. So you had people who were like developing better quality of pizza. So they were just like, dang, like, what can we do? We got like the guy who's on our level, Pizza Hut, killing us, the small business owner killing us. What do we do? They invested nothing in the product. They invested nothing in the quality. All they did was just say 30 minutes or less and it's free. Sales to the roof. And that's just convenience. And that was their unique value proposition.
That's smart. They used that in Ninja Turtles when he delivered the pizza late. And he was like, you delivered late, dude, and he pulled the cash out the sewer.
For those of y'all who want to hear it in rich dummy talk and y'all on the Sylvan bus with me, that was a lot. So I'm going to say this. One thing about the podcast, whatever platform, you can rewind it because he and she gave so much gold. It's dropped so many diamonds that I think you can get bored when it's something you don't understand because I'm like that. But this ain't that, y'all. These people have put in the work, blood, sweat, and tears. They not new to this. They've been doing this for years. They've been, like I say, they've been where we trying to get to. They've been on the radios. They've been in Targets. Kyra got something going with a celebrity right now, and I'll let her speak if she can speak about that. So this ain't just some random people on here just wasting their time. So rewind, go back and listen to the stuff that they said because they giving us the game for free. It's people that charge thousands of dollars to give us that information they just gave for free. And they gave it to us on the lowest common denominator. They could have just spoke because Kyra got a bunch of degrees. John is very educated and charismatic. They could have used some big words, don't nobody understand, or been like, if you want to know, email us at this. So y'all go back, soak that information up and apply it because I know too many people just selling skateboards out the trunk. I know too many people selling cigarettes out the pack. I know people that got businesses, they got records, making beats and all of this, but they at the skate park with me and I see you as you should be way further. So go back and listen to retain and then listen to apply. Go back, listen to retain and then listen to apply. Go back, listen to attain and then listen to apply. My bad, Terry. Go back.
No. I was listening because that's a very powerful point you're making because when I first started, like the idea of like running my own, like creating my own stuff and then selling my own product. I mean, I started off, I was producing music as well. And I was one of those guys who was at the skate park with you too, while I was doing that. And I felt it that I wanted to proceed further. I wanted to upgrade, but I didn't feel capable. But one of the things was because like I sabotaged myself before I even got out there and tried, because I was scared of failure. You know what I mean? But like you can't, like we learn in skateboard. When first thing you tell somebody when they want to learn is, bro, learn how to fall. Learn how to fall and get up. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I found which hobbies were and what I wanted to go further with. And then it got to the point where I built the confidence to like pursue a business behind the product or behind the hobbies, because I was able to find enough motivation to just get out there and see what happens. Nice. And then some of them I got little wins and it was a little easier, and I was blessed to like be able to get through it easier. And some of them I got hit and I was just like, man, I knew it, dude. I knew I shouldn't have. But then you hear, like, talk to people and listen, like you're saying, get that information from people, to talk to people that are doing it, because everybody falls, everybody fails. And so many people have so many amazing, beautiful ideas and successful billion-dollar ideas, but they think they see people and the successors as people that are flawless. They seem flawless, because if you're a successor, you don't want to expose your weaknesses, because now you're on the defense side of the tracks, you know. Mm-hmm. So it's important. So like, yeah, when you see somebody doing something, like, it's good to like go over the information and get books, read them a couple of times, talk to people, and then truly just try to push as hard as it is. It really is hard, but try to be as fearless as possible. Just get out there, man. Like, you could literally like move mountains. People don't
like understand. We deal with this podcast, man.
Yeah. So
that's the mindset.
Definitely helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was saying that's the mindset. That's what, for people who need that part first, like what he's talking about is mindset, being able to do it in spite of that fear, being able to fall and get back up. Like, all of that is a part of it. Like I say, you're going to put in time, you're going to put in energy, you're going to put in money. All of that is going to affect your mental state. I'm just putting it out there. So having the mindset, having the things that he's talking about, like, that's the type of mindset that you should embody.
And I'll even add on just one thing. Like, the one thing that changed for me when it came to like being like not fearless, but just like to keep going, like perseverance, was like the bus theory. And it's always like, you start off an idea, you want to start a business. It's a bus full of people with that same idea, right? All you guys are going down the road, right? Let's say all of a sudden you get your first no. That's a bus stop. It's going to be maybe 5 people getting off the bus. And you're like, oh, I'm not getting off this bus right here. Like, I'm going to keep going. And all of a sudden come to a no, to all of a sudden somebody stole your idea, to somebody saying it's stupid, you can't do it, da, 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 da. It's even up to this point, like almost 10 years in the business, where like, it'll be something that like super stops us. Like, maybe it's a lack of capital, and I'll be up like 2 a.m. in the morning. Like, what am I going to do? And then all of a sudden it hit me like, wait a minute, this is a bus stop. This is where most people get off the bus. I'm not getting off this bus. That's all challenges are just bus stops. Stay in your seat, because the bus is going to keep on going, and you'll look around and you'll be like, oh snap, I'm the only person left on, wait, even a drop, this is my bus. This is my bus. So
that makes sense. Dude, I love that. I love that, because I am someone who got off the bus in the first couple of bus stops, and I don't know if there's actually full healing from that, like full recovery, because it planted something in me to where, like, now I know I've witnessed a low that, like you said, it's not necessarily being fearless, because truthfully, like, having these experiences it implants a certain fear in you that keeps you motivated when you don't, to the point where like you could fail to the point where you realize, like, okay, I know it's on that side. I don't need somebody to call me and be like, get up and get there on time. I don't need someone to say, you better get prepared, because those thoughts, those memories, you're gonna like, I'm not getting off the bus like that next time. And it almost builds like this, I don't know if you would agree with this, but it almost builds like this competitive trait inside of you to where like you're always like on yourself, like how many more stops can I handle? Like if I'm off this bus, I want it to be that like I was like snatched off, you know? If you get up and walk off, you're always gonna regret that. Like fight it all the way to the end. And then
Gotta be Rosa Parks.
Yeah. If you get snatched off the bus, then at least you know how much of a fight you could put in. You know what I mean?
Here's what I'll say too. Realize that you on the bus, because I think what gets a lot of us in trouble is we think we on trains. Yep. And I would say the train is like the infant gratification, right? Like I'm getting on the Amtrak and I'm going to San Bernardino. It's a lot faster than getting on that, what's that bus, everybody? The Greyhound. You know what I mean? The Greyhound could be a little rough going to San Bernardino, but you know what? You have to realize that buses stop because everybody has a destination, and every destination ain't for you. Like when I was trying to learn to play guitar, Terry's my guitar teacher. I just wanted to play Taking Back Sunday like him. I just wanted to play Incubus. He was playing and singing. So that's why people say, how did you learn to play and sing? Because my teacher was playing and singing. If he was just playing, I would never sing. I would just play. So when he was playing, whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there. When I was at home learning, I was like, plink, whatever, plink, plink, tomorrow, plink, 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 bring. But I realized that each stop taught me something like, Will, right now you ain't there. You know, right now you got to work on your strumming. Right now you got to work on your finger dexterity. Right now you got to work on your rhythm. Then you got to work on your timing. Then you got to teach your brain to do 3 things. This hand strum, this hand play, this mind think, my mouth sings. So, you know, I think a lot of the times that people say, I want to be John and Kyra in 2 months, you know, and it ain't took John and Kyra 2 months to get to where they at. I want to be Terry. I want to do tattoos from my own mind with my own style in 2 days. I want to be able to 360 flip, catch it with the front foot, land, roll away all clean like Will. I just big myself up in 2 weeks.
Facts.
But at the same time, we put in the work, we put in the blood, we put in the sweat, we put in the tears. I would tell anybody, I don't run a business, but I treat this podcast like a business. That's why I let Terry dress down and me dress up, because I always try to give people the visual of anybody's welcome. Like Terry be on here chilling in a t-shirt or whatever, and he's still professional with it. He give people the same respect that I do, whether they on here with a suit or whether they on here with a t-shirt. I put on the suit so I could let people know that everybody from all walks of life are welcome. But I just think a lot of the time, and I don't want people to be like, well, Kyra gave me the rundown. I got my sole proprietorship. I got that. I got my DBA. I mailed it to myself with a penny. I ain't just selling skateboards out of trunk. I'm delivering them to you like Amazon, baby, from A to Z. Why my sales ain't went up? You know what I mean? And like you say, you still got to get your value thing you talked about, where like, this is the value of me, and you got to allow time. So I don't want anybody to just think like you're going to hop in here and be rich. You could. I really believe me and Terry one day going to be up there with Joe Rogan and $1 million worth of game and 5150 shows. I believe we won't have to be like, man, who wants to be on the podcast? I think we'll be like, man, we got 20,000 requests. Who do we call? But I think we both understand that it's like Legos. Nobody just opens up the box and then they got a bridge. You got to meticulously go one at a time. This one's in the wrong spot. That one's in the wrong spot. Like Kyra, you said, hey, I didn't choose the right name, but look at how you've grown. Because I see you doing commercials. I see you talking to people and all of that. You look natural, but maybe God wanted you to do that because you didn't see yourself in the spotlight. But he's saying, for where I need you to be, you got to be in the front. You know what I mean? Like John, maybe he's saying, now you don't put your name on the seed box because you probably wanted to be in front. I need you to learn how to work from the back, because you're going to be the one to help 10,000 people become millionaires. It ain't just about you. So I just think that's how we look at it. Like, I wanted to do a podcast for a long time and I was afraid. If Terry didn't come to me and was like, bro, I just had the same idea, I wouldn't be doing this right now. Yes. So, you know, it's like my ego, I had to die to myself, because sometimes my mom listens to this and she told me, like, sometimes you cut Terry off and he'd be on a good point. And I'd be like, dang, I do. And I didn't want to hear that at first, but I had to put the brand in the marketing. I don't know if I'm using that right, but I would say it bigger than what my desire was. Like, she's right. Terry is just as equal and important to this podcast as me. And he brings a different dynamic. One thing people always tell me, Terry, is like, you guys feed off each other like brothers, man. Y'all think the same, y'all act the same. He'll say something, you come in at the right moment. So guys, don't think that anything you do is just gonna be it's not the lottery. You know, this ain't no get rich quick scheme. If you want to build a business, if you want to start a podcast, if you want to be a good skater, if you want to grow your locks, if you want to get your skin from black spots like mine and looking clear and beautiful like John's and Kyra's, I'm sure that their stuff helps, but you got to use it the way the instructions say. You got to keep buying it, not so that you make them rich, so that your skin could get used to being moisturized, so that your hair could be used to getting oil, and you have nice long locks like them, you know? So again, follow the instructions of what these people are saying. Listen to what Terry is saying, because he have a business. Like I say, I'm the Sylvan guy. I'm on the bus. I'm here learning with everybody else. I'm on the short bus, but I'm not getting off at no stops.
There you go.
There you go.
Just, like, experiences, it's like you got to get those experiences. And like, I used to want like a quick break, but how do you support that success? Like Brian Smith, the creator of Uggs, I spoke about it before on the podcast. He said he wanted success fast, and then he got it, and he wasn't prepared to support it. He couldn't sustain that. And like, before he even had a warehouse, he put this idea and this design out, and he got hundreds and hundreds of orders. He's like, wait a minute, I don't even have a team. I don't got none of this. And then he almost destroyed. Basically, he was saying that he put out such a big idea, and he released such a massive energy, and then it put those ripples out there, and then it came back to him like 10 folds, and he wasn't ready for it. So like, in that, he was saying like, prepare yourself to be to where you can support the responsibility that you're taking on when you put it out there. And with that, I mean, you know, if you have that don't just put the confidence behind product, put it behind yourself too. Like, and by doing that, you have to prepare for it. And then one of the things he said that resonated with me is like, everything starts as a baby. You know what I mean? And that was what humbled him in that situation, is that like, people they put something out and they think that they're going to be rich that year. Like, oh, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I'm about to get 50,000 followers in the next, 6 months or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Or I just need that one viral video and all that. But there's an algorithm that you have to jump into. There's all these different things you have to do. Like, some people, like, man, I've put out videos that I edited and filmed for like a week and did all this stuff to it. And then it got like 8 views. And then I remember my kids, they put out TikTok videos. And one time my daughter put out a TikTok video of her like drawing something that she saw on like do it yourself videos on YouTube. And that mug got like 4K views in like that 1 week. And I was like, I don't even know. I was jealous as heck, but I was like, mamas, come here, give me a freaking hug, like. But she just found that right time, right place gap or whatever, but she got lucky on that one. But there is like a logic to it. And so if you got to learn all that stuff first. So I guess it's just like attack things with a certain amount of humbleness, but you guys seem to be doing a very good job. And the words that you delivered have inspired me. I've learned a lot so far already. And I really like speaking to you guys about your products, because your products are awesome and inviting. And then also too, you guys' hair is awesome. I had dreadlocks and I had them 3 times, and not until the third time did I grow them with confidence, but only because I had jacked myself up a few times. And then the last time I grew them, I was able to like teach other people how, which confirmed to me that I knew what I was doing. So that's
2 questions too.
Like, presentation is key too. Like, You guys look like you know what you're talking about.
And that's what my question was going to be. Is that a marketing tactic that you got? Yeah, I've learned it. Was that a marketing tactic that you guys did? Like, hey, I'm doing a hair, not natural, let me fix it, because her product is not just for natural hair. So was that something that you guys said, hey, we're selling a hair care product, we're selling a skin product, so for people to look at us and our skin is not clear and shining in the matte, because you guys really do have nice skin. Like, it's real. Every time I see y'all, I'll be a little jealous. Like, yeah, y'all got some, y'all be glowing. Kyra got like the pregnant glow and not pregnant. John got like I just got a raise at work. He be walking like he just got a raise. And then you guys' hair does look good. So it's like, is that a marketing thing, or was that just something that happened naturally? Like, did you guys plan that? What I'm asking is, do, like, say for example, does it work for somebody like, I forgot the guy's name, but the owner of Fender can't even play guitars, you know? And then you have Paul Reed Smith who plays and he owns PRS. So you have some people who are like, I love Fenders like myself because I like that blues sound, but I follow wherever John Mayer goes. Now John Mayer is over with PRS and he's like, they understand it because these guys play and, you know, and he gave me freedom to kind of do my thing. So do you guys say that, like, if you're gonna have a business, you should be invested in that business, or do you say just go to where you think the money is?
You're also your
That's
brand.
my first question.
You are also your brand. So when you start a business, people, especially because I think John kind of mentioned it already today, like marketing is not just about what you say your business is, it's also what other people say your business is. So you now become a part of your brand and they're going to look to you. If you're selling skincare and your skin looks horrible, people are going to be like, yeah, I don't know how much I can really trust what you're saying because, you know, you got all of this on your face, you know? So if I'm selling skincare, I use it on myself and it works, people are going to be like, oh, okay, let me go ahead and try that out. Maybe she knows what she's talking about. Or like your hair, like this right here, this is like 3 years worth of locks growing. But when I started, my hair was here. Right. And I can show you pictures, you know, and in documenting, like that's super important in part of your business. Like if you can document every part of it, that's king. But I had to have pictures of my hair here to show this is what my hair is now in 3 years, you know? So I'm definitely a part of the brand. I used to have my curls, but I chose locks on purpose because of the convenience. As a business owner, you're super busy and locks this is the best decision I ever made in my life, just putting it out there. So it's definitely been, you know, it's both. Like it's what I need personally in my life to be able to get through the day. But it's also a part of my brand as well. So yeah.
And to be honest,
John, we already know, John, you started because of me. Go ahead.
No, real talk. No.
I was just joking.
It's 100%. Will used to be at Chase used to be like, so would that be check or cash? It throw me on his shoulder. So it was because of Will was the first person who I saw with locks. And I was like, I wanted those. And then Daniel, and then my boy D Smoke. So D Smoke was my roommate back in Inglewood. And he had locks when he was starting to grow his out. And then his little brother, Sir, when he used to work at Guitar Center, he had his. And I remember I came in and my locks was like, I used to call him Kyle Barker from like Living Single because they were really cute. Yeah. And I used to be like, man, your locks are so long. And I remember he told me, he was like, bro, once you grow them out a little bit, they just gonna fall. And then that's what happened. They just fell.
His hair is to his butt now.
It's out of nowhere, huh?
Out of nowhere, bro.
Tattoos on your arm and you're a tattoo artist. So do you use that as a marketing ploy? Like, yeah, man, I'm a tattoo artist. I did this. And it's crazy because you left-handed and you got tattoos on both arms, right?
Yeah, but I saved the other side. My left is other artists work on me.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but like in the tattoo world, that's not necessarily a thing because a lot of artists practice on themselves depending on where they start from. And like me, I didn't get an apprenticeship until like later. So I was like already just putting random stuff on me. So whenever people like, I'll be like, yeah, I'm a tattoo artist. I like, you know, like, don't look at me. Let me I'll like hide my own stuff. and then try to show them work that I did on other people, because I'm a canvas for I'm like a sketch pad for myself, especially my legs. Like I'll be on my little workout shorts jogging, and sometimes like I'll run by a group and they'll be like, let me see. And I'm like, oh dude. And they're like, dude, you got like, I got Pickle Rick tatted on my knee. I got Bart Simpson being abducted by an alien. I got an owl like with random flowers around it. Like it's like, what's the theme? You know, and some people, that's their style. Like it has to be clean. You tell a certain story, you get a certain vibe. Mine's is like, you follow my arm, you might have to call a doctor at the end of that. Like, is it
another question I wanted to ask you,
journey.
What happened?
I think it is still a part of your story. It's a part of your journey. Like that's your business journey on your body. Like this is
but like
how I started. This is where I am.
But so one of the things, so my daughter is starting dreadlocks right now, and I told her one of the things that was powerful for me in the experience of growing dreadlocks is like dealing and committing through all the levels of getting to meeting your goal. At the beginning, everybody's gonna be like, bro, what are you doing? What is that? Especially like people with a certain amount of professionalism about themselves. They're scared of questionable attire because they want people to be like, they wanted people to see like exactly what you're about when you look. Like we said, presentation's key. So if you got something that like throws someone off, that could like lose a potential sale or a potential conversation, you know, to create an opportunity. So like with me, for other tattoo artists, I would be like, yeah, bro, like this is like when I first started off practicing here and this and that, and check this out. And we're like, oh yeah, check this out. But with someone who, from an end user, they'll think that what you put on yourself 10 years ago is what they're gonna be expecting you to put on them if they come with your idea. So before they even have a conversation with you, they'll see your work and be like, no, I'm good on that guy. And they'll go to someone else who has another artist who hooked them up, or they probably hooked themselves up, but they don't really, or like someone who probably had another artist hook them up, and then now they're tattoo artists, but they're not as good as their work because that's someone else's hand. And then they go to them with the job, and then they get some bunk stuff, and they're like, dude, I thought you was putting down like, you know what I mean? So you can, it give or take. But yeah, I'd rather come with a paper. Like I usually drop my sketchbook out on people. But if they come to me with an idea, I'm like, well, let's brainstorm. And I like to advertise my process on there to show that, oh, he knows what he's doing, you know?
That's
real
amazing.
quick, Terry, I wanted to ask you this. I did, but you let it gloss over because they had started speaking on the business and how to get our business going. Back to you when it comes to ego and pride. How do you deal with people who might have an idea that you don't think is good, or you might come with a tattoo that you're like, it's not gonna look right, but you need the money. So like if I came up to you and I'm like, hey Terry, I got an idea. Oh man, it's gonna be great. I want you to make me a monkey smoking a cigarette, but out of the cigarette smoke, I want it to be a dragon eating a bowl of Fruit Loops, but on the Fruit Loop spoon, it spelled my name. Like
how hard that would be, dude. That sounds dope. Like, so that's where the confidence comes in. That's why it's good. Like, my nephew just DM'd me and he's like, hey, where could I get a good machine at? Because I want to start doing tattoos and professionally. And I'm like, I don't want you to get a machine yet. How much do you draw, dude? How much do you draw? Because as soon as it's one thing to say something, but when you get that skin and that work is irreversible, and the customer you got, depends on the client you're working with. You get some people who's like, bro, I just want to get sleeved up. I'm trying to get blasted, so just draw them, you know, because they just want the look. But then you get those ones who's like, how's your line work? How's this work? How's your shading? And or they have people that they look up to that are like celebrities that are tagged, and they want to replicate that swag, and then they're just like, they come with all these like rules and things like that. They want these expectations, these requirements for their business. And it's like, sometimes people come to me with, and answering your question, they'll come to me with an idea and they're just like, I want this. And I'm like, do you understand what the meaning of that is? Like a dude will be like, yeah, I want a butterfly right here. And I'm like, that's that. Let me all right, sit down for a second, you know? let's Google and Pinterest. I tell people all the time, like, get a Pinterest, make like an idea board. You know what I mean? Write your colors, search like the meaning, and then you get other people like all these ideas, but like do research and all that. But one of the things that helps me communicate that and slow people down is the confidence I have in my own work. Because so when I present to them, like I could be like, dude, so this is I could do that definitely. But with you kind of seem like you would carry this, you want it to mean a different thing. Like, what do you want? I asked them what they wanted, and then what they want it to represent for them, the story they're trying to tell. And then that's where my research and my knowledge of what I'm into comes into play, because depending on how much I've learned about things, then I can give them ideas. And then depending on my skill set, I can give them my interpretation of those things. Like I could be like, oh, like, you want like a fairy sitting on the mushroom smoking a cigarette, right? Or some weed, right? You know, that's what people be into that stuff a lot. So it's like, all right. And then I'll look up some stuff where people already have that. And then I'll be like, and then you come to me. And this is how I interpret it. So that's when I pour the sketch out. And so that helps if you're good at what you do. And then if you know you can get the work done, and then you have the necessary tools that work good for you, you can convince people in a lot more than you think you can. And it also, on the positive side of it, it helps that person. Instead of, like, I've seen, like, you've seen that girl that got Drake tattooed on her forehead. Like, the nerve of that tattoo artist. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. You kidding me, dude? Are you kidding me? Like, some people, like, I have friends that my hiking crew that they follow some sites where it's like these jacked up tattoos that people get, and they literally, like, it's like that's not, it's like, all right, we're working with bloodborne pathogens, we're working with all this stuff. It's a very, very fragile environment, right? And then these things you can't erase a tattoo. Even if you get it lasered, it still shows a hint, and now your skin is jacked up, you know? So
you can use Kyra Medleys, and maybe it'll help. I don't know. They say on their website that Kyra put out a thing saying that, hey, she don't lie and say her product could do this or that, but I bet you to make that area smooth.
It probably will work, man. I'm gonna look into that. Maybe I'll send some people your way, you know? But like, so it's like you're all, if the better you have your crap together and you have your product established, the more helpful you are to other people. If you don't, then you're selling something that could be jacking people up, man. Yep. Like,
okay. So I have a question, because you said something, and this was my next question. Forgive me, guys. I'm not an entrepreneur. You three are. So I'm soaking up the knowledge because I want to open a business between y'all. I actually want to start writing books and selling books. So everybody knows this about me, but I've always had a fear of doing it. So y'all actually giving me some game right now. So I'm going to ask y'all, because I'm on the Sylvan bus. Again, I'm on the little yellow bus. And I'm not talking about nobody. I really was in Sylvan. This is the truth. You can ask my mama. So education, because one of the things that you mentioned, Terry, is knowledge, knowing your product. Kyra, you making skin and hair care products. You and John are making skin and hair care products. That could mess up somebody's hair, somebody's skin. John, you out here influencing people, but what if you put something that's one day like life ain't worth living, so just give up and I jump off the building because it was in the seed box, you know? So with that being said, Kyra, I'm gonna start with you, then John, then Terry. Kyra, I know that you're formally educated. You're a UCLA graduate. John, I know that you are very self-educated. You read a lot. Terry, in your thing, being artist, whether it's music, whether it's drawing, I know that you got over. Like, what do they say to become professional? You need to do like 10,000 hours. You probably got like 100,000 hours of just drawing. You were even the person that helped me get my fraternity paddles together. Like, I went to you because I knew you could do the job. So what do you guys say about education as it comes to entrepreneurship? Do you think you should go to college? Do you think you should get some college creds in, go through a class? Do you think you can follow somebody, maybe read a book or get a mentor? Do you feel like it's something that you can learn along the way? Because a lot of people will go, well, you know what? I didn't graduate high school, so I'm afraid to do all this sole proprietor. I don't know what none of that stuff means. You know, it's like, I'm on the block. They love me out here selling my skateboards. You know what I mean? Like, they love me out here selling these cigarettes, even though I don't smoke. Now, I don't think you should sell cigarettes to nobody, but people have smoke shops. So I'm trying to get people from the selling a pack out of your pocket mentality to owning a smoke shop mentality. I'm trying to get people from selling skateboards out of the trunk mentality to owning a skate shop mentality. I'm trying to get people from I'm a tattoo in the garage to let's go to Terry's tattoo parlor, So what do you guys outlook on education as it deals with being a business owner or entrepreneur?
Yeah, no, it's key. When Harry was talking right now, that's all I kept saying. That's key, what he's saying, like being an expert in whatever your industry or your field or your craft is. So like for me, like I went to UCLA, but I didn't major in chemistry because everybody's like, were you a chemist? Like, how did you learn how to make all these products? I had formal teachers, being my granny and my mom, who I learned specific skills from. So my granny had a rose garden and she had a huge fruit and vegetable garden. She used to make jams and pies. So she was always making these. My mom was a cake decorator. The same way that I was making my buttercreams is the same way that my mom taught me how to make buttercream icing. So I utilized some skills that my parents, my mom and my granny taught me. And then going to UCLA, even though I did not major in chemistry or business, which you can do, like it's good. It's like a certification. Like it looks great to have that on your record. But what UCLA did for me was teach me how to research. So I knew that, okay, I want to start this business. I know I need to get more educated about it. Go to the library, go to Google, go to YouTube, go everywhere that you can to figure out more and more and more about your business that you're doing. So that included for me learning about different ingredients and then also asking people what it is that they want. So I had to become an expert. Like if I'm vending at events and people are coming up to me like, oh, your product looks amazing. What do you have? And then at first I would just be sitting there and just talking. I was like, no, I don't need to talk. Let me ask you, what is it that you need? Oh, I have eczema and I have very dry skin in this area only, but then on my face, I have oily. Do you have something for that? So people telling me what their issues were and what their problems were that they were trying to fix, helped me go do research to find out exactly what they needed and what my value is, the natural version of it, the non-toxic version of it. So how can I help? How can I give her a product that she can use on her eczema that's not going to break her out further? And I can't say cure because we're not a drug company. So I can't say my products are going to cure your eczema or that my products are going to cure your alopecia. You guys already know that story. But I can say that the products and the ingredients that I use are natural enough for you to be able to use on those areas to soothe those areas. You can use the scrub to help lift up that dead skin, but I had to learn all of that. I had to understand what is eczema and what is the root of it, and what is it coming from, and what particular ingredient, like what does eczema need? Eczema is dryness. It needs moisture and it needs to scrub off that dead skin. So I had to create products but with non-toxic ingredients that solve that problem. So you know what I'm saying? So you just become, you utilize whatever is in your grasp to learn more about your business. And then right now, like it's so many free resources out there. Like you don't have to go to college and get an MBA. Like you can go to your small business development center. You can go to near your bank at some points. Like there's so many different resources out there. And there's so many people that have done it now. Like when we started, it wasn't that much, especially coming from South Central. It really wasn't any resources for, starting a business from ground up, being the first in your family to do that. But now there's a lot more people who have, and there's a lot more resources being thrown into entrepreneurship and starting a business and having minorities start businesses. So they're out there, there's grants out there. Like it's so much on this internet right now that you can utilize and, just learn, like become an expert in whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, to kind of, I'll take a little different approach when it comes to like the educational aspect. And it's something that I'm learning right now that I'm just starting to get into, because I still have the YouTube channel on the other side, right? So, when I get into something, I'm like, well, what do I do to kind of grow? And I saw this.
Shout out your YouTube page before you go any further so people can follow you.
Above the Influence Reaction, man.
Yeah.
I have some coming up soon, guys. But
Dilly Dan.
Hey, I
Black
got some
Cal.
bands I want to send you too.
Bro, send them over. Please
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Please do.
Yeah.
But it was a couple of videos that like just about how to grow. And at first I'm thinking like, if let's say you sell like 100 skateboards, right? You're like, dang, I want to sell 400 skateboards. Like, how do I do it? Oh, I gotta be 400% better. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I do it. And it's like, it's not really that, because everything is like exponentially, right? So it's like, in order to sell like 4 times more, you only have to become 10% better. So when you get like a book, you're like, I gotta take this whole book in, I gotta transform. It's like, no, you just gotta do things slightly better. Like 10% better doesn't mean that you're gonna get 110 sales instead of 100. It literally means you're gonna get 400, 500 more sales from that, right? Little tweaks. So a lot of times when like I'm sitting there and I'm trying to educate myself, like it helps you establish correct expectations, because a lot of times failure is more so like not just that you failed at the event, but the thing that's devastating that you let yourself down. But that's because your expectations are so like massive. So now it's just like, okay, I want to get better at YouTube. How do I help my audience out? Oh, graphics and transitions. That alone will raise up your view rate. Oh, I want to get better at selling more products. I got to get a whole new product, a whole new website. It's like, oh no, let me just fix my copy. Let me start using action words fast, immediately, quick. Let me take the risk out of it. 100-day guarantee. You know what I mean? Like different things like that. So I think it's, sure, educate yourself, but then also give yourself, again, realistic expectation, because that space that you do that with, you're able to fill it with like grace. You know what I'm saying? So
God, like that word, great.
Just to jump in really quickly, don't educate yourself to the point that you freeze. So you can still be doing your business while you're learning. Like, don't take that as I have to pause on doing my business because I have to go and learn everything. Most of what you learn is going to be on the job, like you're going to get that experience as you're doing it. Like, I had to keep vending events to get good at them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that website that you see right now, KyraShea.com, it wasn't KyraShea.com before. Before it was Kyra Shea Medleys, and I had 3 different designs on there. Like, I had built that website like 5 times before I got to where it is right now. And I'm about to change it again because I found out something even better. But you know what I'm saying? But it's constant learning, and don't pause yourself, or what's the word, like stall.
Analysis paralysis.
Yeah. Thank you. Like, don't stall yourself just because you're in the learning phase. Like, no, learn and apply. That's what Will was saying. Apply as you're learning it, and do it a little bit at a time. Like, don't let yourself be like, oh, I can't start a business until I finish this entire 2-year MBA program. That's not true. Like, you can literally have that business while you're doing your MBA program and probably pay for it. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, you know that famous Greek statue, the thinker, where the guy's like this.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's like that's a good thing, but the reason why there's no doer statue is because he's out doing shit.
yeah.
Oh, buddy. Yeah.
Real quick too, I get analysis paralysis and roller coaster lines. But Terry, education as far as being an artist, as far as being I know you spoke on it, but where's your stance? Are you like, I should go to the LA Art of Institute or the LA Institute of Art? Or, you know what, I follow Kazanji and M, which is a guy I like on YouTube. Or one thing I know about you though, Terry, you don't follow nobody's structure. You kind of created your own style. Like, you kind of different how you draw. So what is your take on education as far as a tattoo and art?
It's even giving me some bumps in the tattoo world too, because you know, you do an apprenticeship and there's like a specific way of doing things, but like I've always wanted to like leave a mark, but the confidence to do that didn't come until after I actually learned learned the set way. You know what I mean? Like, go and learn how to do it first, and then once you understand it, then you can manipulate it to make your own. You can put your own interpretation of it in there.
I like that.
Yeah, but like, so
like that,
because sometimes people are like, yeah, but do you know how to do this? And I'm like, man, give me that book real quick, right? And then they're like, oh, so what were you saying to add? because now you've proven yourself to them with what they want. You got to give them what they want first, and then you can give them what you want, afterwards. But sometimes you got to prove it. So it's just like, you got like in music, you see people come out with their first album, like, and then it's like straight up like a hip hop album, and then you're like, dang, that's dope, right? Like Danny Brown or something, he came out with like some like legit hits, and then once he got his stardom, it was just like on some like UK dance club random stuff, and it was like, but he don't gotta speak. He hasn't. Now people trust him. They trust that he knows what he's doing, and they trust that he's put in the work. So now he gets the freedom to like be openly creative. So like, but that comes from the consumer side and from the deliverer side too, because you got to be able to trust yourself. And I've tried to like, man, I want to do like a skull tattoo, and then I like come up with like my way of doing stuff, and I'm like, dude, I don't even know how to draw a skull really, so I had to go into the anatomy books and really learn how to draw it correctly. And then it looked like I was creating like some type of like healthcare, like them healthcare posters. Like I had books and books of just like arms and ligaments and like the nervous system, and like targeting like body movements and things like that. And then now I understand how to do all that stuff. So I found like shortcuts, and then I fill in where there's room to fill in to get a word in. I put a word in. It's kind of like Eminem. Like he said, like you get the beats that click, 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 right? And then like when you like hip hop has always been like you rap to the beat, you could fit it, but there's like time gaps. And so he manipulated the patterns between the beats. So it's like beat, and then there's beat in between that, and you can fit words in those too. So that's how my approach to art is. That's why my stuff be so intricate, because I'll finish like a drawing, and then I'll go back in and then start another drawing in that drawing. But that took years of like meticulous detail focus, and like actually learning how to do like if I want to make my own style of a skull, I have to learn how to draw a skull first. And then that builds the confidence into me to say, okay, now I can manipulate this, and I know that it'll look like a skull still, like my interpretation of a skull.
Okay.
Does that answer the question? I think I went on a rabbit hole. My bad.
No, you absolutely answered the question. Really quick, guys, I'm gonna let John and Kyra get out of here. I'm asking 2 more questions that I feel are important to me. But thank you guys for sticking with us this far. Wednesdays with Will and Terry. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, go ahead and like. If you can, share it with a friend, a family, a loved one, so that they can listen to this too, especially if you know that they're starting a business, want to start a business, dream of starting a business. If you're listening to us on YouTube, do me a favor, like and subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Like and subscribe to help us with the algorithm. If you have a business, if you think anything about you is important and that you can teach us something, or maybe you can learn something from us, you can email us at willandterry15@gmail.com. It's WILLANDTERRY15@gmail.com. John, Kyra, my next question to you guys, and this is more of a personal question because I know you guys, and you guys have been going at this for a long time, and I commend you guys and respect you guys because you might have wanted to quit, but you've never quit. So what do you guys would consider your highest highs as far as being entrepreneurs, like a moment where you looked at each other and were just absolutely proud, or like maybe you were just taken for words, I can't believe we're here. And then what were your lowest lows? And Terry, you too, because you are a business owner. And what were your lowest lows, and how did you bounce back from that?
Great question. I don't know. Which I think highest high.
Why are you trying to reveal the weakness though, Will?
Right.
Well, I'll answer for being a podcaster. I think one of the highest highs for me was actually recording the first episode, Terry editing the episode, and then for some reason I wanted to see my podcast, our logo on Apple, because that's where I listen, and a lot of the people that listen to podcasts that I know, they use the Apple platform. So when we started, we had all these hiccups, and it was like we had Spotify, we had YouTube, but I figured out Apple. when I woke up the next morning and I saw us on Apple next to Ari Spears, next to Gilly the Kid, next to Bill Burr, like all of these people who I kind of, I don't idolize them, but the people who I use as my own personal mentors of how to do this podcasting thing, I took pride in that. And then, one of my lowest lows on the podcast was when that moment where my mom, and she was just being honest, Kyra, she's your mom. She gonna tell me what I need to hear, where she was just like, you cut Terry off too much. And, and it was like, I thought that I was doing it in a way of, I want to keep the podcast going. I need to keep the timing going. My brother might feel like he going a little too long or something. I need to keep people entertained, but really I
do that.
But people, there are people like you say who need that. There are people who take to those long explanations, or people who like drift off into what you're saying. And me, I'm very analytical. I'm like, okay, I gotta ask this question, and that question to get the information out. I gotta make this point, and that point, but not everybody works that way. So where I thought I was helping the podcast, I was hindering the podcast. But I was able to take that criticism and learn from it. So that's my highest high, and that's my lowest low as far as being a podcaster. So what do you guys say about being entrepreneurs?
Quickly, did you want to reset it real quick? I know it's like at 5 minutes.
It's at 5 minutes. Oh, it shows on you guys' side too? I can't even sneak how cheap I am. Man.
No.
You think well, I just want to hear you guys' you guys' thing. I could skip mines and then we can just move on. Yeah, if you could handle it in 5 minutes, you guys think you could finish that answer in 5?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So I would say that my highest high is actually a series of highs. So when I look back on the journey of Kyra Shea Medleys, we actually did a lot of stuff that we said that we were going to do. And a lot of stuff that we didn't even think that we would be able to do. So, and that was everything from going into Target when we had that little vision and we were just like, we want to be in Target, and we ended up being in Target literally the next year, or getting featured on some type of publications, which John is actually very much so responsible for. Good Morning America, Newsy,
Nice.
A lot of the different things that we did. Meeting freaking Stevie Wonder was amazing. And it was just because we were featured on KJLH and we were talking and just telling our story. And he was like, I want some shea butter. And it was just like, whoa. And then we said that we wanted to move to Georgia. We literally moved across this entire country, like by ourselves, essentially. Like we're in our spot. Like we literally have done everything that we said that we were going to do, and more things that we didn't even know that we were going to do. So, I don't know, I would say that we're doing it. A low is taxes. I tried to be my own accountant before. I'm paying for it. And I have paid for it. So I would say if you can, in specific certain situations like taxes, get a real professional, get an accountant to do it. Yeah. Don't try to do it yourself. So at least in things, like I said, that you don't know. So that would probably be my lowest low.
Highest high. We were going to Good Morning America. And I remember we were on the flight headed to New York, and Kyra was knocked out, but I was looking out the window. And in my head, I was thinking, like, how many people are doing what I'm doing right now? And like, you know what I mean? Like, it was real surreal. And I was like, damn, like, it was just a crazy moment. It wasn't even our biggest accomplishment, but it was just like, you got something to be proud of here. That was the highest high. Lowest low, to be honest, it happens often. Like, business is always like this.
Yes.
So the lowest lows, I can have a lowest low probably like this week, where I've launched like a series of ads that didn't work, you know what I mean? And that'll get me there. But then, you just kind of remember, like, it's kind of what not Bill Walton, but coach at UCLA, John Wooden, where it's like, don't pick it up, don't put it down. If somebody gets you a compliment, don't pick it up. You know what I'm saying? If you don't pick it up, you don't got to put it down when things go bad, and you're able to remain like even kill about it. So,
man, that is, it's crazy because like I like to call it like the Libra scale effect, like, because you decided to choose, you took on the role of standing in the middle, and then you got all this stuff to juggle. And then it's unfortunate, but realistically, society works on one side or the other. Like you're never gonna run into another one who's, if you run into someone of another Libra scale, like they can only jump on one or the other side. They can't meet you in the middle because there's not two there. You can't have two chiefs of one thing, you know? So it's like, it's crazy, but like the amount of responsibility that comes with that, like you can't avoid any experiences. You got to take it on full-fledged, you know? So you're always going to meet lows. They're always going to be there, and you just kind of have to have endurance, right? Like you got to be able to stick through it. I had to learn that too, because I thought like with a certain amount of investment you could avoid certain falls, but it doesn't work like that.
Right.
Man.
Yeah, it's mysterious.
Before we get out of here, guys, I'm asking one more question, but I'm gonna leave them the opportunity to give you all the information for the businesses again. And actually, Kyra Shea Medleys has this really dope thing she did where you can text her business, and whenever they're having sales, events, whenever they have like promotions, they'll text you, and you'll be the first one to get it. So you don't have to miss any of her specials, any of her deals, any of her new products that she comes out with. John is doing the marketing, so he probably the one sending the text messages and all of that different stuff. So guys, could you please, and Terry, you too, could you guys share your platforms and websites again so people know where to find you guys and how to get in contact with you?
Yeah, you can find our beauty products at KyraShea.com, Kyra, Shea like shea butter.com. And we're also on social media at Kyra Shea Medleys, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, TikTok, all of the above. And our text number is 84, sorry, I don't know about heart, y'all. I don't know yet. 844-971-1649. And you can just text it regularly and we will respond.
Yeah, the seed box, of course, theseedbox.com, TheSeadBox.com, so ingrained at develop. You can reach us on Instagram at the seed box as well too, Twitter at the seed box, TikTok, same thing at the seed box too. If you just want to send an email, just go ahead and theseedbox@gmail.com and good to go.
Oh yeah, me, huh? And then you can contact me through Instagram at Mr. Plastic, and then just leave me a message, DM me in, and I'll get back to you. You can brainstorm some work if you need it.
Hey, I actually get to hop in on this one. You can find us at the top on Instagram Wednesday with Will and Terry, just all together. And yeah, we got an IG. You could DM us if you have any, I don't know, you want to be on the podcast or you got any questions, you don't like me, you do like me, DM me, I don't care. But then you can email us at willandterry15@gmail.com. If you want to be featured on one of the podcast episodes, just let us know. Hey man, I want to be on. This is what I do. And all I ask is just be honest. Don't be on there talking about I'm an astronaut. You're not, just be real with what you do. I'm going to ask for some proof. I might go on your IG or whatever, and we'll set it up, man, because like I say, everybody has something to learn and everybody has something to teach. This podcast is a place for open and honest conversation. So my last question to you, Kyra, I'm going to come at y'all real heavy right now. I'm going to ask y'all to do me a favor. Kyra, I need you to be your mom, okay? And John, I need you to not be my brother. I need you to be a mentor as from an entrepreneur state, because this podcast is like a business. You guys are already successful, and I'm sure you're not where you want to be right now. So this is a two-part question. The second part I'll ask first is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? The first thing I'll ask you guys is, me and my boy Terry are 5 episodes in. You guys have went down the road. You've had some ups, downs. You climbed some hills. You got some experience. What do we need to alter? What do we need to change? What are some things that maybe we should be looking into doing? I don't know. Should we email, or should we certify mail the name of our podcast to ourselves for a penny so that we can have his name, so that we can do a DBA in the future? What should our steps be? John, as well, being a YouTuber, and I know you always talk about this, and I'll let you talk about what our next step should be, because you always tell me you got like 40,000 followers or something like that. What should be our next steps? from an
For the first
entrepreneur
question,
aspect?
what I see in 5 years. I mean, honestly, I think if we could sell Kyra Young by that time, that'd be great. So that I could do what I really want to do, which is nonprofit and philanthropy. Like we want to be able to give back and teach people what we've learned for free. So yeah, hopefully Kyra Young can be that big to retire us and allow us to give back in that way. As far as advice in general, I love the conversation and the topics that we were. This podcast is actually way longer than I thought though. So I would suggest like maybe like shorter scripts. I don't know how, I just know today's world, people got ADD, like the attention span is small. So if there's
we always plan to do a short one, but
and it goes, the conversation be live.
that we get stuck.
I would say if you can maybe do like edit the video down to where it's only like say 30 minutes, but then tell them if you buy into our Patreon, you can get the full version. So you can get the actual long version. So like edit it down, like really good. Like, yeah, they do movie previews, like just to like a really short one. And then if they want to keep supporting and they want to hear the full advice, then they can buy your Patreon for $5 a month or $10 a month, whatever you guys want to charge, so that they can get the full version of that interview.
Okay.
5 years, kind of shared view with Kyra to have like the company be sold, but to be able to like maintain like a percentage, whether that's ownership or royalties, to get that kind of kicked back. So I think that'd be a great look. I would think so. And now Will, I'll tell you this. What this, matter of fact, I ain't speaking to you, Will. I'm speaking to Terry. Because Will listen to me. Terry, this is what the game needs to be. This is the plan. You guys know music, especially that genre, way more than I do. I know music, but it's mostly like R&B, like just from production and hip hop, right? All you have to do is this, and I will show you how to do this. Just set up a reaction chat. Remember when you said you got to give them what they want and then they'll give you what you want?
Yeah.
It's the exact thing, bro. This is the play. Set up a reaction channel, find a popular reactor, at least 3 of them. If you find 3 of their videos that all got over 100K, chances are at minimum you'll get 50K. React to that video. Just go down a list of the things they react to and react to that. And what send you guys over the top that I wish I could do that no one does is you guys can actually break it down from a chord structure on the guitar and be like, oh, this is what they eat that up. And in the videos that get kicked off of YouTube, start a Patreon and say, you know what, I reacted to, I don't know, like System of a Down. It wasn't able to make it because it got a copyright strike, but if you guys want, subscribe to my Patreon for $3 a month. You get 1,000 people that subscribe to that. You're making 3 racks a month. Not only that, but you guys already got the name, develop some type of merch. Wednesdays with Will and Terry. And then like once you get to at least to like 10,000, and you can get to 10,000 subscribers in 2 months. When you get to 10,000, bro, trust me, that's what happened with me. When you get to 10,000 subscribers, then you say, you know what? We're thinking about starting a podcast. We got a podcast. One of you guys down and jump over here. They will follow you, bro. They will follow you. And all that stuff is just pipelining towards this podcast, the thing that you really want to do. And you're selling merch on both sides, merch with the reactions. And then you're also selling merch with the podcast. And then you're also able to stack up your Patreon. You know what I mean? And you do it over anyways. You can tell somebody like, hey, you know what? We're having if you want to get featured on the next podcast, like hit us up. We're doing like $100 guest talking. Bro, these people are, hopefully, I don't want to say too much. They're a lot older, so they have a lot more money to spend, and they will spend it with you guys. You guys would, and I don't think I'm the best reactor, but I wish I had what you guys had, that I could implement what I had. If I could implement it, it would be crazy. Trust me, all you need is your phone, bro. I do it all on my phone.
For sure. I've seen some of the songs and I'm like, I'm gonna revisit that, because it's like, let me listen to it again from like a more mature perspective, because I listened to a lot of those, I listened to a lot of that stuff when I was young, like high school, when I was in my like experimental phase, because I grew up on like raw hip hop and R&B too. Yeah. And then my cousin came from the East Coast and brought me like a tape that had like Beck and like it had Limp Bizkit and Korn and all these bands on there, and then it had like Soundgarden, which like opened me up to dude, it was crazy, and Linkin Park. And then I got into it, but like I had listened to those things as a young guy, and I just like the sound and the style from it. But then I went back and I was just like, oh yeah, man. So yeah, that stuff helps. That's cool.
Well, Will was one of the first people to tell me about, when I was listening to Creed, he was like, oh man, if you like Creed, you'll love Pearl Jam. I was like, what's Pearl Jam? You don't know about Pearl Jam?
Like, yeah, his knowledge of bands just tripped me out too, because I'm like, dude, like it's crazy because we're from Compton, so it's like, nobody really talks about the bands in school and stuff,
Right.
Yeah, that's what brought us closer too, is his taste in music. He knows some cool stuff.
Kyra, like that 50 Cent Get Rich or Die Trying album? No, just playing. Terry, 5 years, your tattoo business.
Dude, like where I would just to recap the question, like for like would I see it in 5 years?
Yes, sir.
So lately I originally wanted to work in a shop, and I wanted to be like a successful booth holder in the shop. I didn't want to own a shop because I didn't want that responsibility. I see like shop owners are always coming stressed out, and they're like arguing at everybody. Why you don't sweep your section, man? And like, hey, you gonna pay your rent soon? And what you got coming and all that. I was just like, I just want to create, bro. But now I kind of do want to shop, but I don't know if it's 5 years. I would say in 5 years, I would like to have like an established clientele, like people that trust my work and come back like all the time, like people that can speak on my work and in a positive way, and like bring people my way, like to say like he knows what he's doing. That's what I want. Because right now it's like so many different styles, and it's hard to find like a flock, like I don't know. I'm still in the phase of discovering, do I want to stick to a tradition, like a traditional approach, or realism, or neo, or this stuff. I'm still in that phase, but like ultimately I kind of try to, at this point, I would say for the next 3 to 4 years, I'm letting go of expectation and just enjoying the process, and hopefully I learn a lot from it. So I don't know if I really have enough insight on where I want to be in 5 years. I guess
Gotcha.
so. Yeah.
That's an answer. I guess I'll answer for the podcast since it deserves an answer. 5 years, I would just hope that we have over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I hope our numbers is in the 250,000 plus for Spotify and Apple. And I hope that we don't have to clock in at a job anymore, that this could be our job, that this could be how we sustain our family. And what I really want more than anything is not for it to be a place to make us rich, but for it to be a place to change, where people could get on here and say, hey, I'm a server at a restaurant, and this is how we get treated by you guys. And we can change the face of how people treat servers. That Kyra get on, that 2 Christmases from now, she sell $1 million in products, because people are like, oh, we were on Wednesdays with Will and Terry, and we heard about your product, and I'm in Idaho, and can you send it out here? You know what I mean? That the guy tells John, like, I want to buy 22 boxes of the seed box. I'm going to send them to all the hospitals in Oakland or something like that to help children in the hospital. So I just hope our platform could create change, man.
Dude, eat that idea, because I worked in the hospital for 4 years. That'd be pretty legit, because even my first daughter was born with complications, and I'm not very like religious dominant right now, but when things get rough, you know what I mean? So at that time, like I was seeking like confidence, like things from people to tell me, like, like what the seed box offers. Like I was looking for people to tell me, or looking for situations to prove to myself that I can get through it, and I can help my family like stay strong through it. And I mean, I came out successful, but I could see something like your product helping in that time. That'd be cool.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I want to thank you guys, Kyra, especially you, because you was like, look, 30 minutes, okay? But I want to thank you, Kyra, for sticking it out with us. We did initially plan for it to be an hour, but the conversations be so good. And you guys dropped so much knowledge. And then you guys, we just gonna keep it real 100. We didn't know we were supposed to have a longer Zoom thing, so we had to keep starting over. But we started, and I'm telling y'all this because it's a starting point for everybody. It didn't stop us. We just sent another link and kept going. But with that being said, I wish and pray nothing but success for Kyra Shea Medleys. I cannot wait to see you not only in Target, but Target, Walmart, Costco. What's the other one that Walmart owns? Sam's Club. I can't wait to see you like on billboards. I want to see you with Levi billboard, but a girl's holding a bottle of Kyra Shea Medleys in her hand. You know, I can't wait for Fiancé to be walking down the red carpet and they're like, your skin is glowing, but I use this thing called Kyra Shea Medleys. John, I can't wait for the books to come out of you, sir. The cards is just only the beginning, man. I know we talk about this all the time. And I know that your cards have already touched people in hospitals because of conversations that we don't know if you guys can hear me, but I'm gonna keep talking like you can. Can you hear me? Mm-hmm. I pray that your seed box goes beyond wonders. I know that that's
really it's a little muffled.
Hella muffled.
Yeah, I just text you.
Well, I'm gonna go back again. I'm learning, guys. What I said was Kyra. I pray that Kyra Shea Medleys is in all these stores: Target, Walmart, Costco, Sam's Club. I can't wait to see you in a Levi commercial where they holding your stuff. I can't wait for Fiancé to be on the red carpet. They're like, my God, what do you use for your skin? Oh, I use Kyra Shea Medleys. You don't know about it? Look, it's this. I can't wait for you to be on that stage. John, I cannot tell you how proud I am of you, and I pray that God will bring those books out of you because the knowledge that you hold is impeccable. And you can share it with the world. Seed box is only the beginning. You already touch people in hospitals because of the testimonies that you share with me off a little card. So I can only imagine what you're gonna do with your books. Terry, brother, your art changes lives. You make people happy with the art you put on them because you didn't put stuff from people's loved ones. You didn't put anime and all of this stuff. And people are happy with all of that stuff, brother. Keep going. I even see you inspiring children with your art. Even me, I look at my Alpha Phi's Iron Paddles, and I'm like, man, he really did his thing, and I'm a part of this fraternity. I take so much pride in it. So, that being said, again, Kyra, thank you for sticking it out with us. I always ended in love. Kyra, I love you. You a sister. John, I love you. You already know you a brother. Terry, I love you. Everybody who's listening, whether you like me or not, I love you guys too. And with that being said, I forgot what day it was. Do you remember what day it is, Terry?
Bro, it's Wednesday. Wednesdays with Will and Terry.
You never get it right.
You're gonna have to try to say it at the same time as me, bro. We never get no progress on this one.
We're learning. But
Will Smith, man up, bro. You can't make somebody stay if they don't want to stay. And you said it before. She gotta make herself happy. Get out of there. Get out of there, bro.
Thank y'all so much for having us.
These are not the thoughts of it concerns of Kyra Shea Medleys. These are this is
you gotta sneak it in there, bro.
Will and Terry speaking. You know, I ain't saying nothing about alopecia.
All of a sudden,
she could get some Kyra Shea Medleys and her skin could glow, including her bald head.
And ain't that the truth? So,
with that being said, I love you guys. Thank you for sticking out, guys. We will edit the show and send you the final copies.
All right, man.
All right,
thank you guys. Thanks for seeing you again.
Great seeing you. Good seeing you, Will.